I am in the car. I'm going to give my unfiltered on the Matt James, Rachel Kirkconnell, Call Her Daddy situation. I listened to it and I want to give my unfiltered. I posted a TikTok video on it, but I think it's time for me to just enter the group chat formally with the long form. I'm in the truck right now. I hope, let me go ahead and shut off my AC. I actually don't know how to shut this off. So let me do this, because I feel like it might interfere. I have some notes. I'm just going to go through them. First off, I am a longtime Bachelorette fan, and I know a few people from The Bachelor. They're all great people. Like, I hung out with Pilot Pete one time, and I was like, couldn't check any more boxes for The Bachelor. Like, he came up to me and he was like, yeah, I just like really want to find love. And I felt like I was running The Bachelor. I felt like I needed to give him Bachelor advice. Either way, I watched the Matt James season. A lot of people did. It was a COVID season. Yeah, so let's get into it. I mean, I watched this Call Her Daddy. I haven't watched the full Call Her Daddy episode. I know she did the interview with Kamala Harris, and I wanted to watch that one. I just didn't get around to it. I saw a lot of clips on it, but I never sat down and watched it. So first off, review on just Alex Cooper individually. I thought she did a good job. A lot of people have been critical of Alex Cooper. I see clips of people criticizing her, say she's like she only does things for clips. She definitely just asks the questions. I thought she asked like really good questions. I thought she, you know, like when you're watching an interview, you'll be like, oh, I hope they ask this. She was asking those questions. So I thought she did a good job. So hats off to Alex Cooper. As far as Rachel seems like such a nice person. Like, I'm from Georgia, she's from Georgia. She just seems very sweet. And she seems just like very genuine. She gives like very empath. She gives very like servant's heart, in like a loving way. Like, she seems like she cares about people. It seemed like she cared a lot about Matt James. We only got one side. We only got her perspective. I would love to hear his perspective. I don't know if he'll give it. Here's my thing with it though, before I get into my evaluation. I think it's so weird, even that I'm making this video. I honestly think it's weird, because here we are, it's their personal relationship, and we're like doing evaluations on the breakup, and I'm like, I want to hear his side. I wish it was just between them, but the reality of it is he posted and made it public. Who knows if this would have ever made it to like this level of public. It went there, and I think it was because he radically posted this video, made things super intense, and then she didn't have a choice but to get on Call Her Daddy and give her side. So I'm a huge fan of her. I think she's done a great job, and I think she was really classy in the way that she spoke about their relationship and Matt specifically. Overarching theme. I feel like she, and I don't know her, I'm saying all this stuff just totally opinionated. I feel like she probably, and she alluded to it, probably struggled with the dynamic post-show. I mean, Matt James, he's this big guy, he's 6'6". He was The Bachelor. It's a huge deal. And I think because she was probably in a lot of settings where he was the alpha, like, you know, they go to events and everybody's asking about him. I feel like she just naturally took a little bit of the passenger seat in the relationship. I think she let him lead, and that might be her relationship style, which is fine. But I think when it comes to waiting on a proposal, and it comes to dating somebody for a long time and maybe dealing with other insecurities, that dynamic can be very toxic. And I feel like everything she was describing, when you think about it through that lens of like, okay, she's struggling with this power dynamic in the relationship and the decision making in the relationship, it makes a little bit more sense. Like, would they have lived together if it was up to her? Probably. Would they have been engaged if it was up to her? Probably. Like, there's just a number of things like that probably would have been different if it was up to her. And it didn't seem like, based on what she was saying, that the relationship offered opinions 50-50. This feels weird to even say because it's not my relationship. So I was listening to the podcast yesterday. I wrote down some notes that I'm just gonna briefly go through. And I'm not gonna edit this video. This is gonna be very unedited. Like, we're just gonna chill, talk. First note I had was Alex Cooper crushed it. Already said that. Great job, Alex Cooper. If you need a grown man, former NFL player, you know, just athlete, all around stud, DILF. If you need somebody to join Unwell, like, I'm here. The first note I had was just the relationship, or excuse me, the proposal dynamic was weird because she just was so like waiting. And I thought Alex Cooper brought up such a good point when she was like, hey, if you're in a relationship and waiting on a proposal, that's fine if you want it to be a surprise. But just generally, like, it should be like a mutual, let's get married. I'm a huge fan of the traditional setup for a proposal. I think it's just cool. Like, it just happens to be men, it was women, whatever. It's easier to have one person definitively get the ring, make a decision, do that. But I think mutually in a relationship, you should come to an agreement to get married and the rest is history. Like, it just seemed like she was more like, yeah, I was ready, but like, just kind of like waiting on him and he would talk about it. It's like, she seemed like she was really waiting and not like knowing it was gonna happen, and you're like, oh, like, I was just waiting on him to actually propose. I think it was like she was waiting on him to be ready to get married, which is crazy too, which is another point that I had. Like, I don't understand how you can get on The Bachelor and like agree to do that. You know it's gonna end with a proposal, and then you don't get engaged, and then you wait 2 years and you say you're still not ready. Like, why sign up to be The Bachelor? Why go on The Bachelorette? Like, there's so many question marks that I don't understand. I mean, I thought they were a great I just don't get it. I don't understand that. Whatever. But again, what I was mentioning with that, waiting for an engagement, all this stuff, was like very much that power dynamic in the relationship that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Also is weird because like he made so many references to getting engaged, having a family. So like for this to happen, it was just odd. So another thing that happened in this episode that I just like went like this to, like, was his comment about like when she overreacted. Like, she said about choosing the restaurant, she felt bad, overreacted, was being, again, these are words that she's using, was being dramatic, yada yada yada. And he was like, well, if you can't handle that, how are you gonna handle bigger stuff? Matt, my boy, calm down. Take it down a notch. You don't mean that. That's not true. That doesn't hold true in relationships. My wife is one of the strongest women I know. Gave birth. Literally had to go back in the hospital 2 weeks later. She's dealt with me getting fired, hired, moved around the country, no issues. But if I bring her the wrong coffee order, we're liable to have some issues. I remember when she was pregnant, she freaked out, started crying because I got her the wrong coffee order. It doesn't mean that she's not going to be able to handle big things in life. I think that's just such an unfair generalization that he put on her. Now, again, this is just her perspective of it. But I just think if that's true and that's actually how he is evaluating the situation, super unfair. Okay? Next point that I had was just generally confused about the going on The Bachelor and then not being ready to get married, not being ready to move in. It just seems like these are all things that, like, adults, you're 33, like, I don't think God, you know, I know he didn't want to move in because of religious reasons, but it's like, I don't think God's judging a 33-year-old person for moving in with somebody that they're planning on marrying. I don't know. It's weird. I think it was more of him maybe struggling with some commitment issues and not wanting to actually commit to that because that felt real. You move in, it's real. I don't know. I'm a fan of people moving in before marriage, but that's just me. Allie and I did it. It was great. I would do it again. You would do it too for a check. Okay. I mean, Rachel said this in the thing. She was like, after 4 years of being together, you should know if you want to be with somebody. Like, come on. This is not, he should not be in the 4th year of the relationship, like, trying to figure out if he wants to be with her. I feel like at his age, 33, like, you should be like pretty much like a year and a half honestly max into a relationship and be like, this is somebody I want to marry, or this is somebody I don't want to marry. I don't know. Some people would disagree with that. I think maybe if you're doing extreme long distance, it's just maybe, but like, I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. Like 4 years and that's his, I don't know. To me, it's weird. I think based on that, it's like maybe he's dealing with some internal things and some commitment issues that he has to work with on his own. But like, you're really playing with somebody's emotions at that age and with their time when you're 4 years in talking about, I don't know if I want to get married. Okay, let's see what else we have. Rock with me here for a second. I'm looking at my notes, not trying to keep you guys. Oh, this was crazy to me, bruh. This man saying, or her, like the whole interview, she was like, I just needed to process my emotions, and like that's how Matt and I do things. We just always like, I process and then we come back and talk about it. When she was saying that, I was like, there's no way like that's happening. I was like, Allie, if we have issues, like we're talking about it. There's not Allie, process your emotions. I see that as disrespectful. Like if Allie was hurt about something and I was like, process your emotions and we'll come back and talk about it, it's a little disrespectful. And like, I just feel like that was weird. And then Alex Cooper did a great job of being like, well, do you want space when you're feeling like that? And she goes, no. And then it like a light bulb went off like, okay, whoa. You know, again, it's very much this power dynamic. Matt James says that I need to process my emotions, so I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut and process my emotions. And I'm not saying she's like this submissive woman who just like doesn't have an opinion. No, I'm a huge fan of her. I think she's a catch. I think Matt James should realize the bag that he's fumbling. But again, it just goes into this power dynamic that is a little odd to me. It's just crazy. She literally was like, no, it's literally the opposite of what I want. But she kept referencing it and it was just super interesting. Look, breakups aren't perfect. This is the next point. Breakups aren't perfect. I get it. But the way that he broke up with her is from the start to the finish diabolical. From the start, you're breaking up with somebody before a 12-hour flight. An hour before a 12-hour flight, you're breaking up with them, sending them on a flight. That's wild. Like there is a standard and respect you need to have for a partner if you've been with them for that long and you guys are at that age. To not break up with them in such difficult circumstances. I couldn't picture somebody I love sitting on a plane for 12 hours crying because of something I did. I wouldn't have done it that way. Second off, she couldn't get Wi-Fi because of the VPN thing, whatever. Bruh, you know she can't get Wi-Fi. Alex Cooper mentioned this. There's no way that he just didn't know she couldn't get Wi-Fi. So the point that I'm trying to make is, when he posted 2 hours after he told her that they were going to break up, he posted about it. That is wild that he posted about it without talking to her. I mean, just publicly without having a conversation with her and posting it, knowing she doesn't have Wi-Fi, she's getting on a plane. Like, what did he expect? If that was me and I did that, I would be like, there's no way she's getting on this flight. I'll probably see her in like an hour. Because anybody in their right mind would know if you hurt somebody like that, they're physically not going to be able to get on the plane. So I just thought that whole process was wild. He admitted to that being wild. But again, now it's public and we're talking about it and it's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, the no service thing, it's crazy. And then the last thing that I'll say is him posting it 2 hours after he told her, him announcing it to the world, it feels premeditated. I can't see a world where like he just was breaking up with her and then it was kind of like maybe a build up and then he just did it and he's like, I just need to process this. For him to post it 2 hours, that was like, the job is done. That was like, the job is finished post. Like, I'm not saying he's trying to tell somebody else or trying to announce it to somebody specifically, but it just definitely was like premeditated. I can't imagine a world where he broke up with her, had no plan on posting, and then it was like, oh, I should tell the world. No, this was like very much premeditated. Very interesting play. But Look, that's all I have. I want to get more into making videos like this because look, I love tea. I do. I'm not one of those guys that is like, no, I don't want to watch The Bachelor. No, I'm too cool for this. No, shut off Bridgerton. No, literally sign me up for all that. I am so invested in it, it's not even funny. So that being said, I'm glad that I could make this video and just yap with you guys. I'm in the car, I'm about to go work out. I'm about to get the best workout I've ever gotten. Continue to engage with my channel because I'm really excited about building this channel. I'm gonna try to do, you know, ideally I'd like to, not me checking my text. Am I made for this life? Ideally I'd like to do like 1 to 2 videos a week, but I'm not gonna stress myself out. So this is where we're at. This is, I think, my first video for the week. Comment what videos you guys want to see. Definitely gonna talk more about NFL stuff, like, you know, just some experiences I've had. But yeah, appreciate it. Well done, Alex Cooper. This is my official audition to be part of the Unwell Daddy Gang. I'm joking. All right, appreciate it though. Thanks for giving us that content. And Rachel, thank you for your transparency and honesty. Thanks for trusting us.